This is Amie Maguire, and we are going to break down the back squat. First, let's watch a demonstration from YouTube.
The barbell back squat is one of the big three best bang for your buck exercises for strength and muscle building and total body fat loss. The back squat primarily targets your quadriceps as well as your glutes, hamstrings, and calves. To get started, with a hip width stance, place the barbell across the back of your shoulders and grasp it with an overhand grip. While maintaining a natural arch in your back and keeping your torso upright, lower your body into a squat by bending at your hips, then your knees, until your thighs reach parallel to the ground or deeper depending on your mobility. Rise back up to standing by pressing the entire platform of your feet through the ground and repeat.
As you saw from that demonstration, there's a wide variety of joints involved, from gripping the barbell in the hand and the wrist joints, all the way to racking that bar on your back with the glenohumeral, humeral ulnar, and scapulothoracic to create a nice back rack position. Down in the lower extremities is where we see most of the movement, with primarily the femoral acetabular joint and patellofemoral joints. We'll focus mostly on those, but we do have to note that the talocruciate and tibiofemoral joints are also involved in the lower extremity movements. Taking a closer look at the femoral acetabular joint, which is a ball and socket joint, the actions are flexion and extension. During the flexion phase, which is our squatting phase or lowering phase, it's an eccentric contraction. Muscles involved are rectus femoris, sartorius, pectineus, iliacus, and TFL. The bones involved here, femur, pubis, ischium, ilium, and the lumbar vertebrae. We'll see some overlapping in the extension phase. During extension, or when we're standing, this is the concentric contraction. Primary muscles here are glute max, semimembranosus, semitendinosus, biceps femoris, the long head, psoas major, and then our bones overlap all except the lumbar vertebrae. So we see ilium, ischium, pubis, and femur. Moving right along to the patellofemoral joint, we also see this working in flexion and extension, flexion being that eccentric phase or the lowering phase, but unlike the previous joint, the muscles involved in flexion here are semitendinosus, semimembranosus, biceps femoris, and gastrocnemius. In extension, which is still our concentric phase, we're seeing rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, and vastus intermedius for extending of the knee joint. In both planes, flexion and extension, the bones involved are patella and femur. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the exercises that strengthen the prime muscles for the back squat. They actually help with both the knee and hip joints in their movements. These muscles include glute maximus, which can be strengthened in a donkey kick, which you see in that top picture there of a woman in a quadruped position, so knees under hips, hands under shoulders, and then she is doing a kickback to engage the glutes. Next up, we have rectus femoris, one of the quadricep muscles. We can strengthen this and isolate it in the leg extension, which you see the man there with the machine, stationary machine, and he is just extending at the knee joint to help strengthen that muscle. Next up, we'll move down to tensor fascia lata. Side laying leg raises can help isolate this muscle here in the hip. And as you can see, just laying on your side, very simple, and you're just elevating that leg, staying nice and under control. Two more exercises to look at. The glute bridge, the woman there with her feet out in front of her, laying on the ground, and she has a little weight on her hips, and she is driving through her heels and extending at the hip, really isolating the glute there, but also it is helping with the psoas major, and that we know is a prime mover for the femoral acetabular joint. Next up, we have biceps femoris. We can strengthen this in the hamstring curl, which you see with the machine there. Similar to the leg extension, it's an isolation of the muscle, and then we will be flexing at the knee joint to isolate the hamstrings. And there you have a breakdown of the back squat.